Hello,
Hello,
we are here.
welcome to the Swolemates update.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the kickoff.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so for anyone interested, I had said I posted this, but anyway, I don't know that I ever updated you all on my competition status, but I had changed my mind. If I didn't, I'm updating you again now. If I did, I'm updating you again now. So I was supposed to do Good Friday in Charlotte, and I kind of changed the plan there because I didn't want to do Good Friday for one thing. But the second thing was super expensive for a hotel in Charlotte. And you really want to stay in the host hotel because that's just where everything's happening and all that. So I found another show 2 weeks later. So it's April 30th. So when I said I'm this many number of weeks out on previous updates, I'm actually not now.
yeah, that's not accurate now.
So technically now with the new date, I am 7 weeks out as of yesterday. Right. So that is where I am. I am 7 weeks out. I had a 0.6 pound weight loss over the past week. Now it's really down to the nitty gritty, right? Because it's not like you're going to be losing a whole lot each week. You're not going to be, dropping pounds. Now you're kind of trying to squeak out everything you can.
Get to squeaking.
My skin folds actually went down at least in one area, which was my thigh, which is where I need it the most. However, it still says my body fat percentage was the same. So again, we look at so many different data points. So, measurements were the same as far as tape measurements. And then skin fold was down a little bit, although the body fat percentage still says the same. That's where I am. So what's your update for the week?
I don't have one.
He's 10,000 weeks into his off season.
10,000 weeks.
We don't know. He's just bulking. But he's doing really well.
I'm not bulking. I mean, I am bulking, but I'm not getting fat.
His off season, I think, is very productive. Although sometimes he questions his lifts in the gym.
I always do that.
Now, you got to keep in mind that when you're in the off season, we've talked about this with gaining body fat, and you have to have a certain percentage of body fat. You can't really put on muscle if you stay super lean. So we're not trying to have him stay super lean. We're just trying to keep the body fat gain to a minimum, right? So the idea is if you keep increasing your calories, which we just increased his calories some, like this past week anyway, because
like 4,000.
He's at a sort of at a standstill. Like you want to still steadily climb, I think, in your
if you're not putting
your
any
game
weight on week to week,
right,
you're obviously not.
You're just at maintenance.
You're also not putting on any muscle weight. So if you're not gaining anything,
you want to gain a little bit for sure. You need to
gain. You don't want it to be over the top. I think what really helped this time, last time I came out of a competition, I cut super hard at the end. I didn't cut hard enough this time. So maybe that helped too. But when I came out, I went off the deep end. And
you tend to do that.
I stopped tracking.
No, I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah. I tend to do that.
Not just you. I mean, I do too.
It's just.
I'm so mean.
Yeah, no, I went off the deep end, and here comes the cat. And this time I came out and I had a pretty good plan, and so it got me through the first couple weeks where that's like the most crucial coming out of a show is you really have to keep that discipline or you'll just go off the deep end.
I think that is probably the most critical
And
time
it's so
to
hard
have
to
a plan.
because your body is
Your
like
brain
feeding.
is telling you
Yeah.
you're starving to death. You've got hormones are crazy. Your body wants to get back to a level of body fat that you need.
Are backwards too. All of the hormones that you would want for putting on any kind of muscle or anything like that, those things are all flatlined, and all of the hormones for like hunger and you know, for eating and stuff like that, all of those
they're going haywire.
Survival hormones are super high, and so it's like a perfect storm. If you go off the deep end,
yeah, you cannot
pack on weight. I put on like 20 pounds in like 2 weeks.
Well, I did a competition, this was back when I decided, okay, I'm going like all in, right? In 2009, when I decided, okay, I'm competing in 2010, this is like everything that I do now is going to be about building or competition prep or whatever. So from that competition in 2010, I think I did the Northern Kentucky first, something like, I think it was March or April of 2010. And I honestly think that I was in the same situation. I think I got way too, I think I just used half of my muscle to get as lean as I did. I had been too low calories for too long. And so then afterward, I had no plan. And I think I gained like 15 pounds in 2 weeks.
The freshman 15, you heard it here first.
It was bad. It was so bad. And then you feel terrible. I mean, your body needs to get back to a level kind of in an aggressive way, sort of fast, but not, it's still got to be controlled. You can't just be, I'm going to eat everything, because once you start, if you do not have a plan, like, yes, you can go out, by all means, you should go after your show and have a meal, you know, that's good and enjoyable and all that stuff. And, you know, possibly even breakfast the next day, but then you got to get back on plan. And then you have to work on slowly building up. And it's got to be a plan, right?
Yeah.
So
none of this is what we planned on talking about either.
Anyway, that's okay. We just, you know, we're going on the topic.
We're just rolling with it.
This is where we were. This was our progress updates. Yeah. I don't think you didn't have pictures this week.
I don't. You took I don't know when you.
No, I had pictures this week.
You didn't do pictures with me, and
I did. You didn't.
The last time I weighed, I was actually down like a half a pound or something like that from.
But now we have increased calories a little bit. So,
but I'm gonna like it. We'll just call it 212. I weigh 212. That's what I weigh. Something like
okay, something like that. So we'll see next week on the check-in. We'll get some updated pictures again of you when I'm 6 weeks out and you're 60.
And I've got a new belt coming in the mail tomorrow, so I'm excited about that.
So anyway,
horrible belt pinch. It's nasty.
Yeah, it's not good. So that's our update.
That's our update.
We just got a little bit sidetracked on the competition, but it's really important stuff. Like you need to know these things. So, but our main topic we want to talk about was kind of a twofold topic, but talking about what were we saying? So I had said we were going to talk about mindset, and then he was talking about mind muscle connection. Okay, so these are a little bit, they can be related for sure. So my topic of mindset, I was particularly thinking about, you know, when you compete or just when you have a goal in general. Like a lot of people have a defined goal, whatever it may be. I want a bigger booty. I want a bigger booty. I want better abs. I want, you know, whatever it may be. So let's say you have this specific goal.
Here she is.
It could be
yeah, I know.
It could be competition prep, whatever the goal may be. you really have to be in the mindset, I feel, for your lifestyle. Your life should sort of be working around that. Now, you've got lots of different people that are probably going to be from different trains of thought here. And you could have the mentality of, well, I have all this stuff going on, I work full time and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, Lord knows, y'all, if you know me, I am the workaholic of all time. I have too many jobs at all the time.
She really does. It's ridiculous.
And so not just a full-time job, I have multiple things going on. So that's not really a reason to make an excuse that you can't do something. So if you want to do something, my point was, you need to kind of immerse yourself in it on a daily basis. What I was saying is, whenever I'm competing, like right now, I'm to the point where I told, who did I tell the other day that I said?
Probably Lottie.
Lottie. Maybe I told Lottie. Lottie, did I tell you this? So
Lottie, do you watch this?
Yes, I told Lottie this at the gym the other day. I said, so where I'm at right now, body fat wise, this would be probably about the leanest I would want to get.
That was me. You told
personally,
me this.
But I told her that first, and then I told you what I told her. So what I was saying is, like right now, if I were just trying to lose fat, like let's say for swimsuit season, this is about where I would want to get. But then when you go to compete, you've got to be even leaner. You've got to be beyond like what looks good lean. Like when you step on stage, hopefully you're filled out, which we're still on the whole process of trying to figure that one out. We've never carved up enough. I don't think any coach I've had has ever carved me up enough. I don't think he carved up enough last time. Like, I need a ton of carbs, like you need a ton of carbs. But anyway, you've got to be so lean when it comes time for the show that like you pretty much don't look good.
Yeah.
Your face starts to look drawn.
You get the death face.
That's just how it is if you're going to compete. But what I'm saying is that whenever I'm to this point where I know you got to really dig deep to get that last few % off, I said, I get up in the morning and I'll look at the things I should be eating, right? Like I try to plan each day some way, like you start out your morning with your mind on your goal, right? Revisit it. It could be as simple as put up a picture on the refrigerator of what your goal is. Like if you want the bigger booty, okay, put up what do you want it to look like? You need daily reminders. You don't want to be doing your own thing and doing the work and just your other life, and then you roll into the gym and okay, yeah, I'll work on it a little bit, and then you just go off and do something else, right? If you really have a goal that you want to hit, you have to be thinking about that.
You have to
a lot. Like you have to be in it. You have to live it. That's why,
that sounds very CT Fletcher, right? Like that's, I mean, really, he said that in the 10 commandments of weightlifting or bodybuilding or whatever. It's great. You should watch it, but you've got to obsess about it. If you want to improve something about yourself, I mean, you can't put it on the back burner. It
can't be halfway. That's why I said
you've got to push the chips to the center of the table.
Dive in. It's like I'm in. I'm doing it. You're committed to it, right? It's not kind of sort of gets you there, kind of sort of, and you're never going to be where you want to be. You might get a little bit closer towards there.
So I'm going to kind of throw some of mine in right here because it was a good spot for it. But it was talking about like I said, like mind muscle connection and learning that about yourself. If you can't flex the muscle you're trying to build, just sitting around, just trying to fire that one muscle, you need to work on that. And I didn't do that for a couple of years. I really only started doing that right up before this competition, and now I've really started trying to do that. And after this competition, this goes into her, talking about you got to obsess about it. You got to go all in. My back needed work. Especially like I think my lats and my upper back, like in the middle traps, rear delts, stuff like that. And my legs. And I have put both of those like at the forefront of my training. I kill legs now, and I do it like what I think is proper for me. I can feel each of the muscles that I'm trying to hammer, and I don't screw around with it now, like. And then like calves, that's another good one. And John Meadows said, with calves, you've gotta you can't put those at the like 3 sets at the end of your leg day. You have to like smash them to make them grow. And it's the same thing with your legs, or any part really. I mean, if you're trying to improve something, like she's saying, with if you want a better butt, you gotta do it. I mean, you gotta figure out what's gonna hit it. You have to figure out how the mechanics of it work, like in principle, and how the mechanics of it work for you, because what fires your attachment points, all of it, they're all going to be different. Everybody is different.
And then you need to modify your lifestyle around that goal, because like you're in the gym, okay, maybe 1 hour a day, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but
how much of that are you spending on your phone?
Well, but here's the thing,
talking,
even if you're in there an hour or 2 hours, you've got 22, 23 hours of the day left. Okay. So you can take out sleeping, but then what are you doing to support your goal when you leave the gym? Like, are you going through the drive-through to get your food? Are you making good choices for what you're putting in your mouth? Are you drinking a bunch of alcohol like every other day because, that's just what you got used to in the COVID thing? Because I have heard that one a lot. Like, well, it
was COVID.
COVID started this, there was, I don't even know where I saw this, but there was a big wine. Seemed like everybody was drinking wine during the pandemic, right? And so then it just kind of kept going. But when you leave the gym, are you doing all the things to help get you to where you want to be? That's what I'm saying. Your mind has to be in it all the time. You have to think, what choices am I making that are getting me closer to the goal?
I mean, McDonald's might help you grow your booty, but it ain't going to look the way you want it to. Nobody wants to see.
Now, granted, you can make healthy choices out, but you are not controlling what you're eating if you're just eating out. Just like you're getting subpar nutrition.
It goes back to the, you got to be all in.
Yeah.
Pick the lifestyle little changes that you can make that are going to support your whatever.
And you might not be able to change all the stuff all at once, and that is okay, but you can take one step. Like, this is why, like, I think planning is so key. This is why I love my books. This is why I sit there in my bed at night and I add up all of my stuff and I try to see where I'm at, where I need to be, and this is just for my macros. But if you're just starting with lifting or whatever, then do the same thing, make a plan, but always plan. You can make changes, but like things that didn't work this week. I like Sunday night. What are you looking at?
The heat came on.
So if you like, I like Sunday night as kind of a reflection, or, whatever day. Sometimes I do this on Saturday because Saturday is my weigh-in day. So I'll look at what I need to do for the coming week. So what worked, what didn't, what was good, what was not. You may look at that for your training. You may look at that for, your sleep, your food, your stress levels. What could you do different that's going to just make you get a little change that's going to get you more towards your goal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did you want to expand on that anymore, like with the mind muscle connection?
I just think it would, I mean, I had heard it when I was like when I started out, but I didn't understand it. And you really need to understand your body, and how every muscle that you're trying to work in any particular thing, how all of it fires, how all of it attaches, how all of it is moving whatever it is you're trying to move. If that makes sense.
Because you can go through reps.
Yeah,
you can do a bicep curl and never really contract your bicep to the extent that you should,
the
to
two
force
heads
it
of the bicep
to do what it
and
should
then
do.
anything else that's involved in the movement, your brachialis muscle and your brachioradialis muscle in your forearm are all doing it together, and how that works, and work on, like, so it's like, take it like flexing your biceps. Everybody knows how to flex their biceps, they think. Show me your guns.
But you can make a muscle
But
and not even really
like,
make a muscle.
how you figure out how that's actually working, and where you feel it like squeeze. So I mean, that's just a simple explanation or example, not explanation. Your bicep, but like, let's say like your legs, there's all kinds of muscles in there. Get just, well, you're even just sitting at your desk, like if you have a desk job, or if you're walking around outside, like if you have an outside job, or whatever you're doing, wherever your job is, you can always find time to like figure out how to flex a muscle somewhere, and that will be useful in how you apply that in the gym to make those the lifts that you're doing work for you even better. It's one thing to go in and move weight, but if you can go in and move weight with a purpose, it may be a lot better. Actually, it's not even maybe, it will be a lot better. It's just stuff I wish I understood earlier in my voyage adventure. I don't know,
Journey.
my brain ain't working. That's what I was looking for.
In his bodybuilding journey.
In my journey.
Yes.
That's where I wish I would have known all this stuff. Like, I'm sitting here talking to y'all, and I'm sitting over here messing with my quadriceps. And it's like, that's what I'm doing. Anyhow, that was what I had to add to it. So we were just talking about, I guess, mental connections to either your training or your goals, and that you needed to be all in on the goal part of it and learn about your body. It's an amazing machine. It really is. It does all kinds of cool stuff.
So, I think for mindset, just kind of a recap, mindset has to do with your lifestyle, your choices, what your plans are for the gym, making a plan, setting up a plan to get you to where you want to be. Now, keep in mind that you're going to have things happen. There's always stuff that's going to happen, and you don't need to use setbacks as a reason to stop. You may have to change things a little bit. This is why they talk about a pivot all the time in business. When COVID happened, people had to pivot. That's not to say you're going to shut down, but you had to do stuff differently, right? So you have to do the same type of thing when you have these goals, is pivot. If something comes up, don't let it throw you. Don't let it stop your progress. You may have to change things a little bit different. Would you stop? He's over here flexing, driving me nuts. So you may have to stop. And
the people are right here.
I know, but his foot's just sitting here up and down. That's just distracting me here. So change things up as you need to, this is what I used to always tell my ladies that I coached online. You can turn the volume down, you can dial it back if you have to, but don't cut it off. Like, don't turn the power. I'm speaking of like a stereo. Don't turn it off. You don't have to have it cranked all the time, every day, 24 hours a day. So you may have to dial it back a little bit when things happen in life and you have to adjust, but don't stop, because I think it was in my Beverly article. I said, if you're pushing a boulder up the hill, then it's a lot easier just to keep it moving, even if it's moving slowly, versus it stopping. It's a lot harder to start again. And I see so many people who have these big goals and they'll start and then something will happen and they'll just stop. And then it's a week, and then it's 2 weeks, and then it's a month, and then it's 2 months. And it's like, I got to get back. It is so much harder to start all over than it is just to adjust and modify. So like, I swear I've had like 20,000 deaths, it seems like lately. I over exaggerate my numbers, but there are a lot, something like a death in the family. Yes, you have to go deal with things. You have to go somewhere, you have to do something, but that doesn't mean you quit training for a week.
I don't know if any of y'all have ever had to like push a dead car out of the road, off the road, like, it's broke down in the road. All right. And then you're pushing the car and it sucks to get it started, like rolling, and then you get it rolling and it's not bad, but whoever's behind the wheel, something happens and they have to hit the brakes and you stop all over again. And then you have to start pushing it again.
That's what I'm talking about with the boulder.
That's what I'm talking about. But nobody here has ever pushed a boulder up a hill, but they've probably pushed a broken down car.
Whatever, it's my same analogy. Y'all know what
it is, but I'm like, that's what she's saying is, don't quit, find a way to do it. That's what she's saying. I'm not going to say it again.
You can, if you work out 4 days a week and that's just not going to be possible one week, then, combine your workouts. Maybe, shorten them, but like put 2 of your days together. You might have a full body day twice that week instead of your regular 4-day split where you train everything once. You've got to make the adjustments. So what I'm saying is, plan for things to happen, but don't let that stop your progress, because it is so much easier just to adjust things than it is to start all over again. And then time just keeps going, right? And then that's what I'm saying. Like a week turns into a month, turns into 2 months. I hadn't been to the gym in 6 months. Yeah. I mean, make a plan.
It's easy to quit. It's really
it's a lot easy. It's easy to come up with reasons to quit. God knows I could have 100
excuses
any
results. Day. You have to pick.
Yeah.
Can't have them both.
So anyway, thank you all for being here. Yes, let us know if you have questions. We'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you next week.